So, as we all know, Bari Weiss is now the head editor of CBS News. Why? I don't know. Ask Larry Ellison, who's a Trump fucking billionaire stooge. He might give you an answer. He won't give you an answer. She's obviously highly unqualified for the position. Nobody. I think like there's already people in her staff in CBS who are actively revolting against her. She is incredibly unlikable, very difficult to fucking work with, and honestly, just not very good at her job. For whatever reason, she decided like it'd be good for ratings to have a town hall with Erika fucking Kirk on CBS News, which is supposed to be like the more sophisticated, I guess, mainstream sort of like news the platform, for lack of a better term, which is just like, okay, why would they want to have someone who is not good on a camera, who can barely present her own ideas in as coherent or as interesting of a way as like other conservative fucking demagogues like fucking Erika Kirk of all people. I don't know. It's because probably something. Bari Weiss has to be a stooge to conservatives at all costs because in reality she just wants to throw out a bunch of conservative cock for whatever reason because she's just a fucking conservative, man. Like that's like there's no other real way to put this besides Bari Weiss has always just been one thing and one thing only, and that is a grifter. Always.
Breaking news out of Utah Valley University.
There's an emergency response there, flooded by law enforcement.
The conservative activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot during an event.
The latest horrible example of what appears to be a rising tide of political violence.
In the past year, we've seen assassinations and assassination attempts against a Republican presidential candidate, Democratic legislators, and a conservative activist.
One moment Charlie was doing what he loved.
That's a different question.
Arguing and debating on campus. Fighting for the bus.
It's way too simple about this. You gotta go deeper.
In front of a big crowd, and then he blinked. He blinked. And saw his savior in paradise.
Even as he had
God, I remember that fucking stupid turning points, fucking WWE ass, fucking pyrotechnic ass, fucking performance art. It's just, ugh. It's so fun. This is part of the reason for as to why conservatives were not able to take advantage of this in order to crack down further on their political opponents. It's because it's all fake. It's all performative. Like, do you really think that these motherfuckers want to put in the bureaucratic systems necessary in order to have, like, a fourth fucking Reich? Fuck no. This current administration, which is just mostly a collection of grifters and fucking podcasters and wannabe live streamers? Fuck no.
He had all of these positions, many of them seen as controversial on different issues. He had a huge galaxy of support on America's right.
When you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence.
CBS News.
Okay. To immediately clear this up, Charlie Kirk never debated in good faith. Ever. The only people that he would debate in good faith were college campus kids, college campus students, rather, who were woefully either unprepared, basically put in a position where they're made to look like complete idiots, and even in that case, where he has all the factors in his main sort of benefit, control the microphone, but yada, 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 because this is the exact same thing that happened in the era of 2014, 2015, 2016, they would deceptively edit, even if the sort of libtard there is making a very, very good argument, making the conservative look like a complete moron, they'll edit that out and cherry pick certain things to make them look better in the argument. This is not honest. Charlie Kirk has never been about honest, sort of good faith debate. No, for him, this has always been about a grift. It's always been about a performance for him. And same with the entirety of TPUSA. It's all a grift. It's all a performance to serve one purpose only. Funneling more money up to their billionaire fucking goddamn benefactors, who are, I think, a fracking family. I think it's the Wilkersons or something like that. Most of these like early adopters of like conservative Gamergate, dunking on liberal college student ass accounts and stuff like that, very often, because this is the same thing that happened with Ben Shapiro, same thing that also happened with Steven Crowder. All these motherfuckers would get their initial money from a bunch of fucking fracking billionaires, right? Ben Shapiro, that's how he started Daily Wire. He's a millionaire who got paid by fucking billionaires. Same with Charlie Kirk, millionaire who got paid by billionaires, and then they were basically able to branch off on their own. Same thing with Steven Crowder, millionaire who got paid by a bunch of billionaires. That is it. In order to push conservative propaganda over a new emerging medium.
Presents A Town Hall with Erika Kirk.
Good evening. I'm Bari Weiss, editor-in-chief of CBS News, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Let me tell you why we're here. If you're watching this or you're sitting here in this room with me, you know what I know, which is that we live in a very divided country. A country where many people feel that they can't speak across the political divide. Sometimes they feel they can't even speak across their own kitchen table. And one of the goals of the new CBS News is to change that.
Barry, you're part of the reason for as to why that's the case. A quick reminder for Bari Weiss, by the way, how she started with her career. She was basically like an attack dog for Israel, unironically, on college campuses. She would very often go after professors and try to get them fired out of their job for the express purpose of what? Or not express purpose of what? But for what reason, you may ask? Because they expressed anti-fucking Zionist views. And Bari Weiss is a rabid fucking Zionist. She loves giving Israel that huge sloppy toppy.
And this town hall is just the beginning. This is going to be the first of many conversations and debates on CBS News about the things that matter most, which are often the hardest to talk about. I can make one promise to you, and it's this. You will not agree with everything you hear tonight or in any of these other broadcasts. And that is exactly the point. Because the premise of a democracy is that we persuade each other with words and not violence. And that the only way to get to the truth is by...
I think you might want to tell conservatives that, Barry. Think you might want to tell those guys that, because they're the ones who often act with violence first, ask questions later. She doesn't care.
By talking to one another. And that brings me right to tonight's guest, Erika Kirk. 3 months ago, Erika Kirk's husband Charlie was assassinated on a college campus in Utah. To some, Charlie Kirk was controversial. To others, he was heroic. What is indisputable is that he transformed the American right in the 21st century. He did it through an organization called Turning Point USA, which he founded when he was only 18 years old. In the wake of Charlie's murder, Erika has now picked up his mantle.
Oh, also, yeah, I mean, all these motherfuckers will say that this shit was grassroots. This wasn't fucking grassroots. He got money from fucking billionaires to do this stuff. So when Charlie Kirk was 18, he was offered, some billionaire came up to him, right, and offered him to be like, hey, skip out on college, do political activism instead, and I'll be your fucking main backer. You just have to push out a bunch of right-wing propaganda and views. He's already, like, pretty right-wing at this point, so he's just like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do conservative fucking activism and try to bring the youth into more conservative values and conservative-leaning positions. It's been a complete failure. Most of the people who attend TPUSA events, the vast majority of them were, older fucking conservatives. And the sort of constituency that he was meant to sort of bring into the Republican Party, yeah, they weren't really buying or jiving with the whole sort of conservative shtick.
The mother of 2 young children, she is also now the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Now, Charlie's murder was not an isolated tragedy. And tonight, in the audience, we have other victims of the political violence that's ripping through this country. We also have religious leaders, college students, young Christians, and others invited by CBS News. You're going to be hearing from some of them tonight. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. So, Erika, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I was very grateful when you had reached out, because it was an opportunity to be able to have a conversation that Charlie always enjoyed, being able to have dialogue on both sides so people could really hear everything that's going on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making the time. There's so many subjects I want to cover.
Yeah, so Bari Weiss frames herself as a liberal. She's not a fucking liberal. She is a dyed-in-the-wool fucking conservative. She would I think she at some conference, I don't remember where exactly, but it was in front of a bunch of fucking goddamn billionaires, where she basically would admit, like, yeah, people are, like, scared of me because, like, I say that I'm, like, lesbian, I say that, like, I'm kind of liberal, but then I assure them, it's like, no, don't worry about it. I have all these, like, fucking beliefs in a room of fucking goddamn, like, right-leaning fucking billionaires, and they were all lapping it up and clapping, and they were loving it. She's just a stooge to power. Like, that's literally Bari Weiss in a fucking nutshell.
I want to begin with the hours and days after your husband was murdered.
Yes.
You got up in his podcast studio, where he broadcasted from for many hours every day.
Yeah.
And you said this. You said, you have no idea what you have just unleashed. What did you mean by that?
Let me give you a little background of that day.
Oh, God.
We get home. The team goes to dinner. I'm laying in my daughter's bed, and I can't sleep. It took me months to even walk into my bedroom. I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone, and I start typing out it. And those are my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent.
Okay, so, because I don't think she's going to stipulate everything, I'll just do like a quick little fucking summary here. She went live and basically said, like, yeah, the person who did this will rule the day that, you know, they killed my fucking goddamn husband, blah, 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 blah. If you are a outraged sort of individual, if you believe in the ideals and beliefs of my fucking husband, you should join your local TPUSA chapter. She used this as an opportunity in order to be able to do more fucking political recruitment. And that's like the sort of like biggest turnoff for a lot of people instantaneously, because people recognize it's just like, oh, this is all a fucking performance. And that's like the initial thoughts that people had, especially also on the right, by the way. People thought that she was a fucking actor because she would fake cry and not do a very good job on it like on command crying. It looked really fake. It didn't look good. She would, whenever she'd show up to any fucking event, she'd do the crying shtick over and over and over again. And people were just like, oh yeah, she's a fucking faker. Especially the conspiratorial types were saying like, there's got to be something going on here. Like, we don't trust the narrative of the government because, yeah, don't trust anything that comes out of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. But for conspiratorial types, they don't trust that because they don't trust them anyways because they're schizos, but whatever. For Erika Kirk, people saw the performance that she was kind of putting on. It's just like, this seems really fake and seems to be sort of like ridiculous and stupid. And she's always like crying whenever she like shows up. Like, what's going on here? This seems very, very overplayed, I guess, for like lack of a better term. And that none of this really seems real. So I don't know, why should we believe anything that she has to say? She seems like a faker.
What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to...
Well, that's kind of the thing with calls to violence. It can be... They're generally sort of vague because if you call for a call to violence outright, it makes you generally look optically really bad. So people... It's one of those things that conservatives do this all the time, where they just kind of leave it up in the air. It's just like, interpret it with what you will. I have plausible deniability. I didn't say that anyone should get violent because of this. No, not at all.
Realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that he only can to bring glory to him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful.
Yeah, okay, so she's not going to mention the political recruitment that she also tried to do as well, to try to incentivize more people to join their local TPUSA chapters? Okay, cool.
Powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who...
That, unironically, okay. First off, when Charlie Kirk said certain things about, like, DEI or wokeism or fucking racism or whatever, unironically, he would do, if he was in power, he would implement those fucking goddamn policies. A quick reminder, because, I think the most damning thing, let me get my collection of fucking goddamn Charlie Kirk quotes. Here we fucking go. This is also, by the way... not included in this Guardian article, which is a very solid collection of Charlie Kirk quotes, does not include the quote where he talks about how the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. So there's that. And that MLK Jr. was a bit of a mixed bag. That's a position I believe that is even unpopular amongst conservatives, unless it's the most fucking far right, like the Christian nationalist types, like So the Nazis, Even that position would be fucking controversial, so there's that as well. And here's the main fucking goddamn thing. Where is it? It's on abortion specifically. Here, right here. The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. Responding to a question about whether he would support his 10-year-old, I believe it was a 9-year-old, his 9-year-old daughter aborting a pregnancy conceived because of rape on the debate show Surrounded. This is the reason why people really fucking hated Charlie Kirk. This is why. The fact that he would say something like, if my daughter was raped by, generally speaking, it's like through incest. That's more often than not how it happens. But if she was raped from some meetup, from some kidnapping or something, it's like, well, you're going to have to carry that fucking baby to term. Is genuinely fucking insane on a fucking 9-year-old. Not to even mention all of the health complications and problems that would exist with a 9-year-old carrying a pregnancy to term. It's actually insane. That's why a lot of people did not like Charlie Kirk and was rather gleeful about the fact that his dumbass got fucking assassinated. Yeah. And here's the thing. Do I think it was a good thing that Charlie Kirk got assassinated? No. Ultimately, what I think happened to Charlie Kirk is very bad, and it was tragic. However, I'm not going to just woke scold and, I don't know, like, tut-tut a bunch of people who were celebrating the fucking assassination of Charlie Kirk because of the fact that, dude, the stuff that he would do in local Arizona politics, they had effects. He would provide resources for school board meeting elections, and his candidates would win, and they are typically very far right, like Moms of Liberty type fucking weirdos, and would also be the same dude who provided hotels, busing, and also resources for a bunch of January 6th rioters who all got pardoned by the President of the United States of America. So it's just like, yeah, that's why people do not like Charlie Kirk. He aided and abetted in a fucking coup of the United States of America. He thinks that 9-year-olds should carry pregnancies to term, and thought that MLK Jr. was a mixed bag and that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. He's a terrorist. People don't like terrorists. So I'm not going to like bat an eye when there's a bunch of people on TikTok celebrating the fact that his dumbass got fucking shot.
Who justified his death.
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you.
I'm sorry that most people do not want to abide by Christian nationalism, Erika. That most people within the United States of America do not agree with that ideology. They just do not. Period. End of story. Your husband, Charlie Kirk, wanted to impose that ideology upon everyone in America. And that is why people were happy with the fact that he got assassinated.
I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? This is literally the environment that conservatives fucking cultivated. Like, again, with all of this talk about political violence and rhetoric increasing the temperature over and over and over again, that's like what you guys have created. This is the environment that you guys have fucking created. Yeah, how many people did Charlie Kirk celebrate? Of the deaths of course. Like, tons of people. 1000%, boy meets mini. Like, it's stupid. Like, school shooting victims, Palestinians, trans people, yeah, 1000%. Like, Charlie Kirk was totally okay with all those people fucking dying. If it meant that he could do his Christian sort of nationalism, his fucking stupid conservative ideology, and he could have an easier time fucking implementing it. Yeah, he would totally celebrate all his deaths. This is the environment that not only your husband has helped to cultivate, but every other fucking conservative pundit and grifter that has existed in online spaces ever since the early 2010s. This is what you motherfuckers wanted, and now you have it. Now you're having some fucking reservations and saying like, whoa, wait a minute. I think this might actually be kind of a bad thing, guys. I didn't think that I would be affected by the consequences of my own actions. Me? No, I didn't think such a thing could be possible. It's one of those things where it's just like, man, this is why no one can treat conservatives like seriously under any fucking circumstance, simply just due to the fact that these motherfuckers, these conservatives, will do everything possible to shirk any form of responsibility that they might have in terms of the rhetoric that they used in order to get us to the position that we currently find ourselves under. It's like, it's what you guys did. This is the exact environment that you guys wanted to fucking cultivate. And now you guys are upset about the fact that it's here now? Like, this is what you guys wanted. This is what you've been advocating for. Cope about it.
You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas.
Oh, I'm
And if
sure.
you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them because they took the time to have...
He didn't go after people, huh? Didn't go after people. If I see a black pile, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. If you're a WNBA pot-smoking black lesbian, do you get treated better than a United States Marine? Interesting. Happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. I wonder why a lot of black people were celebrating the fact that Charlie Kirk got murked.
People come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that? That is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
As you know,
By the way, that's part of the reason why a lot of people do not like Erika Kirk, because all of this time, she like cries and all this shit constantly, it seems overly performative.
as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erica, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, and he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Oh boy.
Excuse me, Erica, my condolences. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying X, Y, Z and they deserve to...
What's this? Do we need to go over the fucking quotes again? He's not going to be explicit about it, not too explicit about it. But, you know, in environments where he feels safe to express sort of positions where it's just like, these people, fuck them. They're lesser than me because they're not white or whatever. He'll say those things. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, come on, dude. Like, do you know what a dog whistle is? People are not stupid. They can fucking tell, okay? That it's just like, oh, you mean this. Like, don't fucking play coy with me. Like, I often rag on the American people, very, very fucking often, about them being incredibly fucking stupid. But if there is one thing that they are very good at picking up on, and that is when you're talking about them in very roundabout fucking ways, and they do not fucking like that behavior. Like, okay, bro. Like, nice fucking meme. Reject feminism, submit to your husband, Taylor. Damn, I thought he was always implicit and not explicit. Curious.
Die. My husband never once said that. He never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. That's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop.
I don't know how many times this has to be said, but that's a performance. The reason why Charlie Kirk was more than likely doing the campus circuit again is because of the simple fact that, first off, those environments are never honest or truthful. Very often they would be edited deceptively to favor Charlie Kirk's argument more and more. So, again, not an honest environment. And the reason for as to why I would have to do that is because in reality, Charlie Kirk is not actually a really good debater. Not really. He's very good at repeating a bunch of talking points, but his arguments and his positions are really fucking bad and easily to fucking pick apart. Because otherwise, what does he do besides saying terrible fucking Republican talking points? Just random sort of spouts of scripture. And the reason why he does that is because he knows that the campus students that he is fucking debating are not going to know all the fucking scripture, all of the sort of like Bible verses off the top of their fucking heart. Because why would they? And Charlie Kirk would just randomly say a bunch of fucking Bible scripture as a rhetorical tactic in order to try to make these students look very stupid, in order to argue his bad faith fucking points. So again, he does not argue in honest, good faith debate. For him, it's all a performance. And the reason why he was trying to do this again is to sort of rekindle a fire, because he was sort of losing a bit of prominence to more further right voices, like, say, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. So what did he decide to do? Why don't I just do my campus circuit again, rekindle an old flame kind of a deal. That's what he decided to do, and ultimately it was not really all that successful, because he was trying to get more and more young people to be interested in conservatism. Didn't really fucking work, to be honest, because most of the people who would attend like TPUSA events, which is where he tries to bread his fucking butter, or butter his bread. I always mix up that fucking saying. You know what I mean. Were conservative boomers, average fucking Republicans, Gen Xers, older people, which means his original stated goal as a company is a complete fucking failure, and that is to bring young people into being conservatives. Didn't really work out all that well, and as a result, he decided to try to rekindle that sort of flame. Didn't really work all that well, and when he goes up against debaters that, well, generally speaking, know way, way more than him, they make him look like a complete fucking idiot, because he doesn't know what he's talking about most of the time. He just has his talking points, and then if his talking points don't work, he'll just start citing random fucking scripture all of a sudden. Like, honestly, it would have been... if he ever showed up at, like, a university by wherever you live, Boy Meets Minnie, you should have really fucking showed up there in order to fucking, I don't know, debate him about, like, scripture or whatever. That would have been fucking hilarious to see. I would have definitely enjoyed that.
It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone.
I'm
and
sure.
what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different. But you have...
Yeah, dude, those fucking college students were the ones who incentivized Tyler Robinson to shoot fucking Charlie Kirk in the neck or something. A random fucking nihilist to do that. It's stupid. It's nonsensical.
secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that, I'm going to stop you from saying it, I'm going to... Why? You don't have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me. My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then go and have a Subway afterwards. Why don't we do that anymore? Instead, it's violence. Usually...
Because of Charlie Kirk. Like, I don't know, like, how many times this has to be said? Your husband literally helped cultivate this incredibly violent environment that we find ourselves under. Like, all these conservative pundits, like, you guys are the reason for as to why we are currently in this violent environment. Like, again, they can't take responsibility for any of their own actions. It's incredibly fucking irritating.
Really one-sided, I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book? The last book he will ever write. It could have been about politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop. And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive. But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him. Screaming. Does he scream back? Not once. He sits there. And you know what he's thinking? It's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature. Go sit and have a coffee. Go and tell your mother you love her. Go do something that is beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones,
Yes.
that they are doing something to us collectively, that they are dehumanizing us. Later, we'll talk about the conspiracies that are spreading right now on those platforms about who killed your husband. What do you recommend to people sitting in this room? What are your practices to disconnect, to reconnect by disconnecting?
Well, like my husband, I took all of it off my phone.
All social media off your phone.
I don't have it on my phone. I have a team that helps run it. I really, everyone has an opinion about me. I could care less. You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
One of the things that has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than...
Okay, just to say, like, one quick note on the social media stuff. That's just a byproduct of the further commodification of media. Companies with algorithms have realized that in order to make as much money as possible, to have as many eyeballs as possible on their platforms at all times, what do they have to do? Make sure that people stay on those platforms for as long as they can make them stay on those platforms. So they can see more advertising, yada, 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 make much more money, get their metadata, sell it to data brokerage firms, blah, 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 right? It's a problem with the commodification of media that you guys have basically helped to orchestrate, right? It's a bunch of conservatives that own all the fucking social media platforms. Jack Dorsey is like, what? The only, like, out and about fucking liberal? I guess, like, was Mark Zuckerberg even really, like, a fucking liberal? Or did he just, like, support the Democrats because the Democrats were, like, the most okay with, like, Silicon Valley or some shit? Like, who really fucking knows? Silicon Valley dudes, they only care about one thing and one thing only, just like every other fucking goddamn billionaire. It's about making as much money as possible. And how do you make as much money as possible with social media? Gotta get all those fucking eyeballs, paste it on that fucking screen, watching as many fucking ads as possible, collecting as much data as possible so they can just sell it to a bunch of people. That's how it works.
Most people will say in a lifetime. And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay? Yeah. Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show, correct, but he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation. How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for...
I'll give one modicum of tiny credit there from Bari Weiss. Just one. That's an actual decent question. It's like, okay, you talk about civil discourse. And these are some of the things that the left prefer to fixate on. How do you square the circle? How do you square the circle of your husband being for fucking goddamn civil discourse and civil debate when he says a bunch of clearly intolerant, uncivil sort of things? I'm curious to see what she says.
For everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence.
I don't know. He clearly fucking cared a lot about your fucking skin color. He clearly fucking cared. Yeah, watch the full context. Like, that's literally all she's gonna say. Just watch the full context, bro. Like, and then he actually makes himself sound actually really good. It's just like, seriously? Like, of the clip? You pull up the full context of the clip, and these motherfuckers are just like, no. You have to watch the full fucking episode, bro. Bro, you have to watch everything. You have to watch his whole video catalog. And now you're conservative like Charlie Kirk, so therefore now I forgive you for your sin of taking Charlie Kirk out of context. Don't believe them when they say, like, you're taking him out of context if you watch the clip in context, because oftentimes if you watch the clip in context, it makes them look much, much worse.
He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked.
Charlie Kirk dropped out of college when he was 18 because, I don't know, this the stipulation was that he was not interested in college or something. No, that's not the story. But Charlie Kirk was pulled aside by a billionaire for saying a bunch of conservative beliefs, and was given a bunch of money from said billionaire to start Turning Points USA, with the express purpose of pushing conservative talking points on college campuses. Yeah. Meritocracy. Okay, bro.
So hard to build Turning Point USA. The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea what that whole, there's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man.
It's a lot more than 2 sentences, Erika. A lot more than 2 sentences. And I have, without a shadow of a doubt, if we go through his entire video catalog, probably every single podcast episode, he probably said something either racist, homophobic, transphobic, every fucking phobic on the planet. He definitely fucking said some shit.
So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
Can't believe
Does
you're
it bother
taking
you
him
that
out
people
of
are picking out
context.
those statements and drawing an entire picture of who he was?
Again, that's the problem. You're not having a conversation. You're having a 15-second clip on the internet to define your thought of who someone is instead of taking the time to educate yourself on truly who that person is, what they thought. Because why? They challenged you to think a little different? Again, my husband was an amazing man. We're human. But I do not once, for 1 second, think he was anything else than exceptional.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there.
Oh, that's the dude who was arguing, I believe, gun violence with Charlie Kirk, right? Very, very interesting. Right, huh. And this guy was actually putting up a pretty good argument. He's like a TikToker who very often like debunks a bunch of conservative talking points and did a bunch of research talking about, because this is the point that Charlie Kirk was peddling, saying that transgender people are more likely to commit school shootings. That's obviously nonsensical. That's just not true, but whatever. Just because there is 1 or 2 instances of it happening doesn't mean it's a whole fucking collective. It's a prescription that you can give to an entire group of people. Again, correlation does not equal causation. It's nonsensical, but whatever. Conservatives will lie and just come up with any fucking bullshit whatsoever. And Charlie Kirk was like, they were just talking, opening the argument, and then Charlie Kirk mentions fucking gang violence, and then the shot happens, and he gets assassinated right on the fucking spot. And Hunter Kozak, I believe the name of the TikToker here is, was talking about how he really wanted to talk with Charlie about this issue specifically, because he's like, yeah, I've been doing a bunch of research into all this, and I know I can easily factually prove that Charlie is wrong. You know, very noble of Hunter to say this. The problem is that we're dealing with a subset of people who do not believe in reality and do not believe in facts. And as a byproduct, as a result of that, we're talking about fucking people who do not agree with sympathy as a concept, and that their pundits also, like their community, become a reflection of that. It's very often a symbiotic fucking relationship. The creator creates the community often creates the creator. They bounce off of one another in order to formulate this, well, sort of identity. Like, oh, these are like the Charlie Kirk enthusiasts or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's generally how it works, right? In a lot of online fucking spaces. So Charlie Kirk is going to not really give much of a shit at all about the facts because, again, he has a narrative that he has to push. He has an audience he has to maintain and appeal to. And as a result, because he is a grifter, he will do anything possible in order to make sure that his audience stays satiated.
Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise surrounded by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called...
I already like where Hunter is going with this exactly, because again, on the day of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, what did the President of the United States of America do? He immediately started blaming the Democrats and the left for this. Highly fucking dangerous. And stupid. Ridiculous. Complete fucking nonsense. He was just peddling fucking conspiracy theories in order to rile up his fucking base, because Trump knows that the only way that Republicans can maintain any form of power is if their base is constantly activated, constantly stimulated, and always ready to fucking go out and vote, basically. And they will do this through any method whatsoever. Violent means, lying, conspiracy, it doesn't really matter. So long as the base is activated and ready to go, they'll do it. They'll always try to make sure that they don't go over the edge all too much. But there's always going to be a couple that fall off the edge. You know, the truly violent fucking schizos who decide to go out and commit a lot of the fucking violence. Again, the vast majority of a lot of the gun deaths that are done at schools, right? At school shootings are generally done by a lot of violent fucking extremists on the right. Vast majority. Vast majority. The ADL did some very good research on this over a 10-year fucking period in 2012 to 2020, or 2022 rather, showing that the vast majority of violent political extremist violence was by the vast majority, and I mean the vast majority, it was done by the right. So it's one of those things where it's just like, dog, fucking spare me it, dude. You people are the ones with your rhetoric keep pushing everything further and further and further, closer and closer to the edge. There's always going to be inevitably a few people that fall off. You know, some like debris. Like, think of it as this way, in like a cartoon sort of interpretation. You're pushing up a rock, up a hill, but there's like a sheer cliff at the end of it. Or like, you know, a cliff with like a little dip. You stop the rock just before you get over the edge of the cliff. But some of the debris sort of falls off. The debris that falls off, those are the people that perpetrate the fucking violence.
Called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that turning point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence.
So that was in reference to the Democrats who said, like, to the military, if you receive unlawful orders, it's okay to disobey them.
Have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question.
Oh, she won't.
You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people?
She's not going to answer the question. This is already a failure to answer the question. She's not going to answer it.
This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home, okay? This starts with family.
Okay, yeah, she's like a typical fucking conservative weaseling. As expected. They can't accept responsibility. Anything. They can't. I wish Hunter would be able to sort of catch her on that. It's like, it's just a simple yes or no question. Just be like, yes, I condemn what Donald Trump said, or no, I agree with what Donald Trump said. I think Donald Trump should keep saying it. None of this fucking mealy-mouth fucking bullshit. This is all to serve as a potential way to fucking deflect, to move the goalposts. It's a simple yes or no question. The fact that she's not answering it as a yes or a no, automatic fucking failure. In fact, she's implicitly just saying that no, she actually does agree with it.
This starts with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame.
Hunter, don't nod your head to that. Don't nod your head to that. I don't care. Like, she's blatantly not answering your question, buddy. She's just not.
Everyone else. We have to look in the mirror when you become a father, when you become a mother. How are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them advice and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is parents.
What? Huh? Okay. Ugh, man. Jesus Christ. No. Stupid. They just can't take responsibility for any of the things that they say ever online. Dude, Destiny is just correct when he talks about this stuff, man. Like, conservatives can't take any responsibility whatsoever when they constantly talk about how the left are the ones who keep pushing political violence onto us all the time, and we conservatives have to defend ourselves from it. It's just an acknowledgement that these people just can't take responsibility for any of the stuff that they say, or anything that the president fucking says, and can't just fucking condemn it. They can't do it. They can't fucking do it because, again, the point of the fucking ideology is simple. It's violence. It is an inherently fucking violent ideology. This is a simple yes or no question. The fact that she's not answering it with the yes or no, and she's just going on this fucking diatribe, should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about the ridiculous extremist that we're looking at here.
Step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part. I'm not in control of other people.
The question was explicitly about Donald Trump, and you failed to answer that question. So, no. You don't think political leaders are responsible for turning down the temperature at all whatsoever.
Okay, ahead. A father whose daughter was murdered in cold blood because of who she was. He's here. Also, political violence and the conspiracy theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Stay with us.
Oh boy. Guess we're going to get into Candace Owens, probably.
Never before has conservatism, the ideas of freedom, liberty, American exceptionalism have been so popular on these college campuses.
Welcome back to our CBS News Town Hall with Erika Kirk. Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erica. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death.
So that was that tragic sort of shooting done by that one schizo. I'm trying to remember who it was exactly. I covered it a while ago. It was obviously tragic, and they ended up being two Israeli embassies. Not embassies. Jesus Christ. Ambassadors. That's the term. For people who go to the embassy. Yeah, they were two Israeli ambassadors, I believe, that ended up getting fucking shot and fucking killed by, like, unironically, just a one-off left-wing fucking goddamn schizo. Because, yeah, I obviously admit, yeah, there's a bunch of left-wingers who tend to be fucking crazed, anti-fucking Semitic schizos, but I often make the argument that they are no different than the fucking right-wingers, right? A lot of these, like, ridiculous fucking Marxist-Leninist types that you see online are basically the exact same as all of these far-right fucking conservatives. It's just instead of Hitler, it's Stalin for them. It's the ideology, the justifications for it, the fundamental basis of their ideology is no different.
Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata. What I want...
The enchilada, the infantata, the enchilada, the infantata, the infantata, the enchilada, the infantata. I don't know how many times this has to be said, but he didn't fucking say that. He was on the Bulwark podcast where he was saying, like, yeah, personally, in reference to talking about the Smithsonian exhibit on the Holocaust, on the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, talking about how the term intifada is used to mean uprising, and how that term gets misappropriated by a bunch of people. So he would never, and this is where he said, personally, I would never use the terminology or the phrase globalize the intifada, because a lot of dishonest actors such as yourself would use that for their own fucking political purposes. Fucking globalize the intifada. fucking might as well just say enchilada, you stupid dumbass.
Want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it? Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is... What healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing.
Hold on. Most of the Christians that people don't like are Protestant fucking evangelicals. It's like, those are the motherfuckers that people hate. Hate those motherfuckers because they're not actual practitioners of the Christian religion. And the people that do not like most of the Jewish people, quote unquote, in particular, are the Zionists, who very often love to conflate themselves with being a representation of every fucking goddamn Jew for one reason and one reason only. Because they have to justify their ethnic cleansing campaign in the fucking Palestinian fucking territory. That's literally it. They have to do everything possible in order to kill all the Browns that were currently living in Palestine, so they can establish their fucking ethno-state. And also, don't fucking think that you're safe from this, you evangelical freak, Erika Kirk. The main fucking reason why you want the fucking ethno-state in Israel is so that all the Jews get burnt up in holy hellfire or whatever the fuck, so that the rapture fucking happens, and then all the good Christians go up into fucking heaven. It's just a death cult. It's all fucking weird death cult fucking shit. The biggest supporters of Israel are who? Christian evangelicals. Kufi is one of the largest largest support networks for Israel within the United States of America. And who do they primarily give a lot of their support to? Republican fucking candidates. Why? Because they know that Republican candidates are going to give Israel all the arms that they need in order to continue with their ethnic fucking goddamn cleansing. That's why.
Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together.
Yeah, yet people like yourself and Charlie Kirk are the biggest Jew haters.
And to be able to walk in a place where our Lord and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor. How could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick, and it needs to stop. We are human.
I mean, Christian evangelicism is unironically just a massive fucking conspiracy theory. Like, yeah, there's no basis in, like, the Bible, or much basis in the Bible or scripture to justify the sort of, like, plan of the rapture, especially since it's a thing that just keeps, like, moving the goalposts on constantly more and more. Like, if the date doesn't get sort of achieved, they'll just come up with some other random bullshit. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they'll read the Skeins of Fate or whatever, take a look at their tetranomograms of books or whatever and say, like, oh, actually, it's now this. That's when the rapture's supposed to happen. I don't know, go do it or whatever. And then it doesn't happen, and then he just comes up with something else. It's just a cult. It's all fucking bullshit. Like, why are, like, random people able to predetermine, like, when a major event, apocalyptic event, I would argue, of the Jews all dying in fucking holy fire, or hellfire, rather, being eternally fucking damned after, ethnically cleansing and creating the super ethno-state of Israel, and essentially cleansing all the Palestinians from the fucking goddamn land, and then the rapture fucking happens, and all these people's souls go up into heaven. Like, are you essentially just saying that it's just a fucking, like, end of the world doomsday sort of scenario, and it's just that fucking simple? No, it's a bunch of poppycock hooey bullshit.
No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that, you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen. I
wonder if she even follows the basic tenets of the Ten Commandments. It's just a quick question. Because I could make a bet. Oh, she definitely doesn't.
That is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's Word. And
fucking enemy-occupied territory, bro. The presidency's Republican. Senate's Republican. House is Republican. Judiciary is pretty fucking Republican. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, enemy territory. Okay, bro, whatever.
And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Stupid.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're on all of our college campuses and high school campuses. We have these conversations. And our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. We're gonna do
yeah, the problem is that very often truth in the mind of a fucking conservative, it's a bit of a malleable term. Is what they actually say the truth? Yeah, I don't fucking think so. I'll be quite fucking honest. Yeah, I don't really fucking think so. I don't think that's how that works whatsoever.
The best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay, being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, they're spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
I thought that Tyler Robinson... Are they going to say that Tyler Robinson was a fucking communist and his roommate was a fucking transgender woman, so therefore he's a fucking communist? No, like, the dude's just an apolitical fucking nihilist. Like, that was it. And then something incentivized, something fucking made him fucking radicalized. Yeah, that's also another good point, Boy Meets Mini. We still have no idea if Tyler Robinson actually fucking did it. And so far, Tyler Robinson is not cooperating whatsoever with the authorities. And the people who fucking turned him in was his pastor. It was his pastor who ended up fucking turning him in. So that's still being fucking litigated in the fucking courts right now. We have no idea exactly if Tyler even actually did what he did. For all we know, could be complete fucking bullshit. We don't even know.
Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon t-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
my kids'
initials,
my wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
Apparently they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you. What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
By the way, it's mostly like far-right conspiracy freaks and Candace Owens specifically who spread those theories.
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips. Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this.
Not Nick Fuentes, no. Nick Fuentes was distancing himself from this immediately. This is all Candace Owens, Boy Meets Mini. All Candace Owens. Fuentes did not contribute to this environment whatsoever.
Egyptian planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it, but what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, take a flight on that for a second, what I will say is what I'm worried about and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trials pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of...
Isn't that trial actually going pretty decently in favor of Luigi Mangione, right? Like, like it's not going that terribly that far. I have not been keeping up at all with the trial of fucking Luigi Mangione, but as far as I know, it's not been going all that terribly for him. I think. I have no idea, honestly.
Oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is, it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
Well, I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like, they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
yes.
That's how mainstream they become.
Okay, Egyptian planes.
Maybe.
Well, I've got Egyptian planes. Okay, I was pregnant for 90% of those trips.
So far, I haven't seen any clear convictions for Luigi. Yeah, I've not seen anything clear either. Like, it was like a bunch of coincidences for like Luigi Mangione for as to why he ended up getting fucking arrested. And I mean, it was some like random boomer in a fucking McDonald's who ended up being the main person who turned him in. I don't know if you know anything about boomers, but their brains constantly leak out of their fucking goddamn ears.
Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But do you even so you need to?
No, but yeah, but I do on that one, only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I'm wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she's making a huge amount of money on it. She's building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people? They're putting...
So I believe I've covered this clip already before, but this was already something... Candace Owens was already getting a significant amount of popularity before this whole fiasco happened. This has allowed her to take the sort of conspiracy snowball into fucking overdrive. Way more than it already was spinning out of control. Because she was already had a lot of fucking prominence with her fucking podcast, simply due to the fact that she was doing the whole sort of, oh, I'm anti-Zionist, but I'm actually anti-Semitic kind of a deal. And it was very, very popular, helped cultivate a very big audience of a budding sort of what I like to call dumb fuck idiot populists on the right. And that's generally speaking what has been fucking happening. And same with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. They see that Donald Trump not long for this world. He really, really isn't. His brain is leaking out of his ears. He's getting more irrational, more distraught, more angry, more unpopular, more unwieldy. Just you can't fucking, like, he's just a very, very old, senile fucking man. You can't fucking work with him anymore. Time to fucking discard him. And since these people are all authoritarians, they know that a weak leader makes them also look very, very weak. So it's time to discard them and start to move on and build something out of our on our own, out of the dying carcass of the current Republican MAGA movement. There's still going to be people that are still like loyalists, that are going to fight with the dumb fuck populists, and there's going to be a bunch of people in between who aren't necessarily going to know what is happening, or who to exactly side with, what's going to be convincing. They don't really know exactly themselves. Maybe they just back away from all of it to begin with. Who knows? Anything can happen. But that's why there's currently a lot of fucking infighting going on in the right wing right now. Because it turns out the Ouroboros of fascism, the snake eating its own tail, oh, it's a snake, and it always inevitably loves to eat its own fucking goddamn tail. That's currently what is happening right now in the current coalitions of Donald Trump.
Putting these lies out into the world right now.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay. The next question comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erika, because Charlie interviewed him for his show last August. Rob Henderson, to you.
Thank you, Bari, and thank you, Erika. During that discussion with Charlie, neither of us knew that was going to be the last long-form interview he would ever conduct, because his life was cut short by the actions of a very disturbed young man. As someone who admired Charlie's ability to offer young people a productive and optimistic path, I want to ask, how should the conservative movement think about cultivating leaders and role models for young men, and how can it continue offering them a constructive alternative to the toxic currents Charlie so astutely criticized?
It's a great question. First of all, your interview was amazing. It's one of my favorite ones to look back on. Charlie connected with you very well. And I can always tell when he does on his show. I've always watched his show. And I can always tell because his questions and his engagement would shift. He always loved, that conversation with you. As the CEO of Turning Point USA, it is my responsibility to make sure that our youth is in good hands. Our chapter leaders are amazing. And there's some leaders within those groups you guys have not even seen or heard about yet, but you will one day, and you'll be blown away because they are amazing kids. We had 2 of them at our gala event this weekend,
I'm sure.
and they spoke in front of our donors. It was the first time I ever met them. Phenomenal.
Spoke in front of your donors, eh? Should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about this organization. It's not honest, right? It's all about the grift for these people, fundamentally speaking, right? Like that. Oh man, what is TPUSA doing to cultivate a brand new era of leaders amongst young men? How can they suck off shareholders and billionaires most effectively? That's what they're trying to fucking cultivate. Because they just want to make a bunch of fucking little toadies like Charlie Kirk to eventually do the right-wing takeover where the billionaires assemble the Mega Voltron Corporation and essentially try to rule the fucking world. Like, unironically, that's what, like, the existence of TPUSA is here for. It's, again, it was a billionaire paying a bunch of millionaires, or paying a millionaire, in order to spread their fucking propaganda for them. That's always been the point of a lot of these fucking conservative organizations. Daily Wire's the same. Steven Crowder, the same. Jordan Peterson, the same. All of these motherfuckers are the same. They're all grifters.
Kids. Not only are they smart, they have a heart. Not only do they have a heart, they can understand and see the Gen Z landscape in a way that we can't. And from a peer-to-peer communication level, they're phenomenal. So I personally, having a front row seat to the rising generation, the courageous generation, they're amazing. Yes, there are bad apples. Millennials, we got them too. So do the baby boomers. So does Gen X. No one's escaping the bad apples. It's just the batch. But it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our team's responsibility to make sure that our chapters are cultivating those leaders. So when they leave high school and they decide not to go to college, they're in the workforce, being incredible people and incredible leaders. They might not be influencers. Not everyone's meant to. Everyone plays a very specific role. But they'll be someone in something very important, and they'll plant seeds. And that's all you have to do, is plant the seed. And then let truth...
by the way, like, because this is exactly what, like, this is the sort of inevitable conclusion for this ideology. You are meant to be nothing more than another little fucking cog in a fucking goddamn machine. Yeah, this is all fucking evangelist bullshit. You must submit to the hierarchy at all times because the hierarchy, it's inherently good. It is the main thing that is meant to keep order in this world of chaos. If the hierarchy were not in existence right now, basically, if we don't have the systems of hierarchy and control in order to have these very important systems and structures to maintain order, then everything is just going to be chaos and consumed by the eternal world-eating dragon of chaos, and that's scary. Yeah.
Grow from there. But thank you again for the time that you spent with my husband on that final conversation. It meant a lot to him. It means a lot to me to be able to have that to show my babies one day.
Thank you, Rob. Coming up, should women focus on their careers or building their families? We'll ask Erika Kirk what she believes as a mom and now as a CEO.
Oh boy.
Welcome back. Erika, Charlie's last book, it wasn't about politics, it wasn't about policy. It was about the Jewish Sabbath, which he kept for 25 hours starting sundown on Friday night through sundown on Saturday night. What made Charlie so passionate about this subject?
He was on the verge of burnout, and he thought to himself, what can I be doing? And he...
Well, no. The only reason why Charlie Kirk became more of a... Because, again, they're leaving this out on purpose. Charlie Kirk used to be more of a sort of libertarian type, right? Like, free speech, but but we got to make sure that corporations have as much power and money as possible, yada yada yada. But he would still do all the anti-gay shit and racist shit consistently, but he would not be as overt as he was later on. There was a shift, however. Nick Fuentes and the Grifters would very often harass Charlie Kirk, going to his TPUSA events, harassing Charlie Kirk, harassing attendees, and being sort of general sort of nuisances, where essentially it forced Charlie Kirk, or rather he had a compromise with Nick Fuentes, saying that, oh, okay, fine, I'm going to go further to the right, I'm going to become more of a fucking Christian, we're going to become more nationalistic, or national, rather, and I'm going to start essentially, I guess reading scripture, becoming more of a Christian fucking nationalist, in comparison to that of the more civil, I guess, like libertarian that he pretended to be in the past. Again, the only reason why Charlie Kirk decided to do that is because, like any other grifter, and he was probably better than most, he was able to see the political wind shifting and sort of see the emergence of this dumb fuck, idiot fucking populism, right? He actually pays attention to all this stuff, much to the chagrin of the Trump administration, but he would always stay very, very loyal, which is why on the line of the genocide of the Palestinians, especially with what was going on with what Trump was doing, it was always a very, very difficult line for him to maintain, talking about like, yeah, well, everything that Trump is doing with the ceasefire is all good, rah, 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 everything that Trump is doing is good, blah, blah, blah. And he used to be apprehensive of of Israel bombing Iran, and then he was like rah rah for it. It was always like a very, very difficult line for him to toe, in particular when it comes to that, because he is a Zionist. He agrees to the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, and he's not anti-Semitic. But he also tries to do a lot of the dumb fuck idiot populist right-leaning appeals, like no war with Iran, I don't agree with that, blah blah blah. But sometimes he will also just side with the positions of the fucking president, in order to just, again, because these people don't actually believe in anything, they're grifters. They'll just say anything in order to make sure that they stay within the mainstream, within the spotlight, to make sure that they always have intention on them. 1000%. That's Charlie Kirk and all these conservative grifters in a nutshell. It was always like a very, very difficult through line for Israel in particular with Charlie, because a lot of people, especially younger people, which is who he's meant to appeal to, are dumb fuck idiot populists who are incredibly fucking anti-Semitic. And Charlie's just like, well, I'm not actually this anti-Semitic myself. I'm a Zionist. I don't really agree with that whatsoever, so I kind of have to placate that a little bit. And we saw with like the leaks of the texts that he'd invite Tucker Carlson to a bunch of shows. He'd invite Candace Owens to his like big rallies and events and all that shit, at the cost of his own fucking goddamn donors. And that would happen. That would happen. Now, we don't know if they've come back, if there's been negotiations, whatever, what have you. We know that it's been a thorn in his side before, so straddling that line is very difficult, because Charlie Kirk, he likes money, but he also likes the prominence and attention that he gets from a lot of people, so, and the connections that he has. So, very, very tough line for him to navigate.
Always loved the 10 Commandments. And then he saw it, honoring the Sabbath. And he realized that if you don't, this one commandment, if you don't honor it, you're the one who misses out on the gift, not God.
Are you keeping it?
I'm trying my best.
Is it helping?
It is. I feel close to him. I break it apart, though. So instead of a full 24 straight, I'll break it apart only because my mom's sick, and I need to be available because I'm her medical power of attorney, so I need to be available if something happens. And so I make it what works for me. But that's what was so beautiful about that. Charlie wasn't legalistic about it. He's like, make it your own.
Erika, you have made a lot of comments that a lot of people have noticed about women, suggesting, you know this, right? Suggesting that women should get married young, that we should have children young, that they should prioritize family over their careers. And at the same time, you are now doing both. You now have 2 young children, I think both under the age of 3. You're the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Square that for us. Some people look at you and say, you know, she's trying to make it a binary choice. You can be the trad wife or the girl boss, but look at her, she's having both. What do you say to that?
Right, well, I didn't ask for this. Obviously it's a blessing.
That's not exactly how that works. Huh? What? Okay, dude. That's not how that. Okay, that's just not how that works, man. There can be like trad wives who are just it's just about how much money you have, man. How much fucking wealth and privilege you have, and Erika Kirk has a lot because, again, Charlie Kirk was a millionaire who got paid by billionaires in order to spread a bunch of fucking conservative propaganda.
I view it as a blessing. It's a duty to my husband, but I was very happy being a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's actually more beautiful and emotional and powerful job title, if you will, being a mother.
Oh, 1000% Boy Meets Minnie, which is why the ratings on this are fucking terrible. Like, nobody liked this. Nobody wanted this, and her staff is in complete revolt right now over this. They were just like, what? Why the fuck did we do this? This is stupid. Why would we do this? And also, Erika Kirk, like I just said earlier, your husband's rich. So you can afford to be a trad wife. Most Americans can't.
And for me, I experienced what it was like living in New York, living that boss babe culture. But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat, always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and I, and his mission was my mission. So stepping into this role is not so much a job title. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. This is something I'm very passionate about because it's still a remaining breathing version of my husband, this Turning Point USA. So this organization is not just a company to me. And the staff and employees are not staff and employees, they're family. And so for me, it's a lot different and a lot deeper than a career. This is very personal. But yes, it is hard. But at the same day, it takes a village, and I have one heck of a village.
We have a woman here that has a question perfectly calibrated to this part of our conversation. I want to hand it over to Isabella Reggi.
Thank you. And Erika, you and your family are in my prayers. I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City. I would like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities?
Marketing professional, by the way.
To care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative man?
Well, yeah, so...
In New York? In New York. Girl, good luck with that, because that's going to be like searching for a needle in a haystack.
It just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if... I'm not going to ask you your personal journey, but what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go, I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself...
I don't know, man. Like, but maybe your friend doesn't want that either, right? Like, you don't know. What does your friend want a good fucking Christian conservative or something? No, maybe she just wants to fucking fuck around, suck some fucking cock or something, go to the bars, go to the clubs, you know, fuck around, have some dinners, go to a hotel, have sex, whatever, and just have fun with it. Fuck it. That's her discretion. That's her decision. She has the freedom to be able to do that. Here's the thing with conservatives like Erika Kirk and Charlie. They want to make sure that that's just not allowed. Because that's degenerate. It's unchristian. It's sin. You can't be doing any of that. Like, what on earth is this? Let's not pay attention to the fact that every time there are conservative events, there is a significant amount of Grindr usage in the fucking area, but let's not fucking talk about that. It's all fucking projection with these people. 100% of the fucking time. They preach this sort of like Christian evangelical sort of ideal belief in what is to be the correct sort of Christian moral thing to do. And in reality, do they ever practice any of that? No.
Need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's gonna knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. But that's not how it happens. It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it. You went to a job and literally, so this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to...
That's actually, I think that's fucking psychotic. Like, why does it have to be a fucking job? Notice, this is just the Protestant sort of evangelical sort of thought process in general. And why it is as terrible as it is, and why all these people are incredibly fucking lonely, weird, disheveled morons. It's just simply due to the fact that these people are just like, oh yes, hello, Christine, age 26, occupation in marketing professional, blah 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 blah. So my questions for you are you a suitable partner for me? What is criterion do you believe that you have for me to believe that you are a suitable partner for me? Blah blah blah. Like, that's not how any of that works. It just like you just go out with people, talk with people, go outside, socialize with people, get rejected a bunch because that's just how it fucking works. You just have to like go out there and try. Unfortunately, since the kind of culture that we find ourselves under, it makes it such that it's really difficult to do a lot of that very often because, you know, if you bomb out, you might get filmed, you might get embarrassed really easily, it might make you look really bad, yada, yada, yada. Which is why I say, like, to be cringe is to be free. Embrace cringe. It's okay. Like, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you bomb out, you get rejected, whatever. Get back up, there's plenty of fish in the sea, just go and do it again, and blah, 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 blah. The problem is, this is becoming a much more difficult thing in order to be able to do. Why? Nobody has any fucking money to do that. It's expensive to do that. Going out to clubs, restaurants, going to drink in bars and stuff, meeting people. Hard to do, considering how suburbanized America is, how little public transportation there is for most people in America. Good luck with that. You need a car, you need insurance, you need gas, you need a roof over your head, you need to be able to pay for your fucking goddamn bills. Expensive. All of these things are quite expensive. That's already going to cut into your income significantly. You need food in order to be able to survive. Oh, there's another cut right there. How much money are you going to have left in order to be able to go out and casually fucking date? Questionable. Depending on the profession, depending on the area that you're living in. Not easy. You could say the same thing about the partner as well, because it's a two-way fucking street. For a lot of conservatives, they don't think it's a two-way fucking street. But again, it's a lot more fucking complicated than just forehead. The fucking Lord said that this is the right guy, and he told me that it's basically like a job interview. It's just like, what? Okay, bro. Nice meme.
Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. I thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't. But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the pen for him to write your love story. And when you know that, look, if I remain in the jet stream of God's will, he will provide for me in ways I cannot even imagine. And that is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is to remain open and to remain prayerful and to let people around you know, old school style, I'm ready and I'm looking to get married and having a family. You can always have your career. Being able to have a family truly is a very limited, short window. You can start your career. If you have people and it's an amazing business, have other people run it, you can still manage it. You can still pour into it, but you have your babies. And then once your babies are grown and the nest is empty, go back to your career. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have a career, you have your babies, the Lord's going to inspire something inside you that you're like,
bro, that's 18 fucking years. This is the exact same point that a lot of fucking conservatives say. Like, they're just like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, it's totally fine and okay for you to have a career, but if you're like, okay, let's operate under a hypothetical scenario, okay? Let's say you're 20 years old, you're in college or whatever, you meet this guy who's at work, let's say they just graduated university, they get a job, it's well paid, blah, 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 blah. Let's assume that finances are not a concern whatsoever, okay? Let's just operate under that assumption. Because this won't work if finances are a concern, by the way. The woman will also have to work in order to be able to maintain a roof over that. But okay, let's just operate under the assumption finances aren't a concern. The man, let's say, earns $400,000 a year right out of university. Fantasy, but whatever. Hypothetical. The woman decides to drop out of university, put her fucking program on hold, and just wants to be a stay-at-home mom for the fucking goddamn husband, take care of the husband. Okay, first off, who knows how long it'll take for her to get pregnant? I don't know, could be a couple months, could be a year, could be 2 years, whatever. Let's just say it takes like a year. Okay, she's 21 now at this point. Sure, fantastic. 9 months then passes, that's about another year. Okay, so she's about 22 now when she has the fucking baby. Okay, cool, great, fantastic. Okay, she has the baby. And husband's still working, you know, it's going great, yada yada, the job's going good, blah, 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 he's doing well. And the woman stays at home, cooks, cleans, takes care of the house, yada yada yada. And she's currently 22, she's got a fucking kid, births the kid, great, fantastic. Okay, and she just spends the whole time cleaning the house, cooking, taking care of the kid, blah, 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 doing the traditional trad wife stuff. Okay, kid 18 years later. The wife's 40. 40. I'm going to say it again. 40. And you expect me to believe for even 1 second that a housewife who had to drop out of university, like partway through university, in order to shack up with some guy who managed to land a Fantasyland job. Complete Fantasyland job, by the way. In order to be able to pay the bills for all the people in the fucking goddamn family. Because this is what conservatives actually want. They don't want women to be able to go to university anymore because a lot of statistics are showing that university women do not want to date conservative men. Which is why they are doing everything possible to go after education. Keep that in mind. She hits 40. What's she going to do now? Okay? Kids left the nest. Okay, let's just say that's also the case. And they can easily afford to do that. You know, the husband earns a fantastic living, has a big business, makes a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. remember, we're operating under the assumption that the husband's earning a fuck ton of money, because it's the only way that this works. Fuck ton of money in order to be able to sustain this whole lifestyle. Kid leaves the university, is able to sort of like manage on their own, whatever. Dad's rich. We'll send him resources, help out, blah, 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 blah. Sure, whatever. However that works. Do you really think that a housewife with zero job experience, who hasn't even fucking finished university yet, is going to be able to start back up her career? Let's say even the profession, position here of Isabella. She's 26 and a marketing professional. Okay. Finds a guy that she's exactly looking for. Who knows when they get married? They have a kid. Let's just say that process takes about 6 years. She's 32. Spends the whole time being a housewife. Right? And then she's done. She's going to be 50. Do you really fucking believe for even 1 fucking second that some company is going to give her a job after taking a hiatus to take care of a kid for 18 fucking years in America? This isn't the Nordic countries. They might actually do it there. But in America, to a 50-year-old who took 18 years off, got rid of her best years, her best working years, in order to just take care of a kid for 18 years? Fuck no. This is delusional. That's not how this is not how reality fucking works. It's nonsensical.
You're like, you know what? There's a problem. I have a solution. How many baby companies have been born out of moms? You know, like the little carrier seat or a stroller.
We live for that carrier seat.
Right, 100%. I'm not trying to plug them for like something, so I'll just try not to even say the name, but you understand my sense.
Dude, just be an entrepreneur, forehead.
Is that there's something really special and beautiful about making sure that you are the woman that your future husband deserves and vice versa. Do not settle.
Thank you. Thanks, Isabella. Up next, the emotional moment that Erika Kirk forgave her husband's alleged murderer. Stay with us.
Oh, God.
I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Erika, that moment that we just watched was unforgettable. I was one of millions of people across the world that
It's
watched
so
you get up on that stage
man.
and forgive the man who murdered your husband. And I think a lot of people looked at it and thought, this is incomprehensible. It's almost baffling. And I want you to speak to those...
I don't think that's what they said, Barry. I think a lot of them said that, wow, this is really performative.
Those who are unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting
1000%
what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil. What I'm doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands, where he could have a foothold in me, and he could be able to...
Oh, by the way, like, Erika Kirk, Charlie, all the conservatives are perfect examples of the main sort of philosophical framework I like to operate under, known as the death of fucking subjectivity. Dink donk, dink donk, dink donk, fucking Daho mentioning the fucking death of subjectivity again? Who would have thought such a thing could be fucking possible? These people are incapable of fitting into another person's shoes. They can't fucking do it. They can't fucking do it. And it's necessary for fucking conservative fucking thought. They have to do it. They have to not be able to understand or think how another fucking person thinks. They can't fucking do it. It is emblematic. It is necessary for their ideology to be able to properly function. Necessary. So, the fact that she is just saying, like, oh yeah, I totally, like, forgave the guy, even though, like, we don't even have concrete evidence that fucking Tyler Robinson did it. Who the fuck knows exactly what happened? Do we trust any of the narratives from the FBI? No, they're liars. Candace Owens is obviously a fucking liar. And Tyler Robinson is not willing to fucking participate. We do know, at the very least, that Tyler Robinson was more than likely some form of a fucking nihilist. Just like many other young American men in the United States of America. Why? Look at their fucking current prospects right now. They are non-existent. The economy's in the shitter. Unemployment's at almost 5% in America. I think it's 4.6%. It is, the job market, terrible. Like, is this a really prospecting job market for young American men? I don't think so whatsoever. Even for, I think American youth unemployment's almost at 9%. 9%. It's really bad. Really, really bad. Like, do you think that someone like Tyler Robinson, who spent like almost 200 hours in fucking Power Wash Simulator, is in the sort of a good, healthy fucking mind state? Fuck no. Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. And he's a dude who just like spent all his time on Discord talking with his friends. Now, I don't think that's really a problem. Like, yeah, that can be chill and fine and whatever. But do you really fucking believe in your heart of hearts that a kid who was pretty apolitical, who only mentioned Joe Biden and Donald Trump once each time in the Discord chat that he shared with his fucking friends, would just randomly and all of a sudden just become a political nihilist instantaneously? That's absolutely fucking believable, given the current political conditions that we find ourselves under. I think that's totally fucking believable. I'll be quite honest. Like, people have been radicalized by even crazier shit. But this is like all a thing that's like being orchestrated, and you're like forgiving him as like a good part of your grace, and that it's like the Lord telling you to do this because that's what he would have done. Yeah, it's nonsensical, dude. Like, fuck out of here. Tyler Robinson, if he fucking did it, because that's still all being fucking litigated at this point. So it's alleged. He's a fucking nihilist. It makes perfect sense why he might have done it. Because he feels like his economic prospects are just non-existent. Because let's be honest here, they are currently non-existent.
Like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash...
I'm sorry to say, Erika, but unfortunately, Stephen Miller, Tucker Carlson, and Donald Trump did not get that message.
Something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival. And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
If you were to meet the man, I won't name him again, accused of murdering your husband, do you know what you would say to him?
Nothing.
You would say nothing?
I have nothing to say to you. Nothing.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that. He's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
I want to bring in our final audience question for tonight. I want to turn it over to Joe Lavoie.
Hi, thank you. Your faith in this process has been inspiring, and that inspires this question. How are you able to trust God amidst unfair and immense suffering?
One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Job.
Oh, also, by the way, it's really obvious and clear that all of these questions were definitely fucking pre-screened, not only by Bari Weiss, but probably also by Erika Kirk herself. There's nothing organic about this fucking town hall whatsoever, which is probably another reason why it did terrible in terms of the fucking ratings. This isn't organic. This is nonsensical. This is just an orchestration, a random construction here by Bari Weiss because, I don't know, she thinks she has the pulse on the heart of what the American zeitgeist ultimately wants, and that is a town hall with fucking Erika Kirk, because apparently America really, really needs that right now in the current time that we find ourselves under. It's stupid.
And what's so powerful about that book is that you read it and you go along and you say, how could bad things happen to good people? But what happens at the end of that book? God does restore. He does. Even more so than Job had prior. But when did that happen? It happened when Job prayed for his friends. Even though they were against him, even though there was all this drama, he prayed for his friends. You can call them enemies. That's not saying, oh, Lord, my enemy is like, no. There's boldness in being able to say, Lord, do what only you can do. And the Lord restored what Job had lost. That's how.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
I want to thank Erika Kirk so much for joining me tonight. And I also want to thank our audience for participating in this town hall. CBS News is going to have many more conversations like this in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned. More town halls, more debates, more talking about the things that matter. I'm Bari Weiss, here in New York. Good night.
Okay. That's the town hall? What's the point of the fucking extension then? What, she just like randomly debates with random people? What the fuck is this?
Coming back to their faith after what happened, especially to Charlie. So I was raised Christian, and then in my young adult life, say high school, college, I kind of fell off in terms of practicing. Never stopped believing, but someone who just kind of stopped going to church and whatnot. After the horrible events of what happened to Charlie, that was kind of the moment for me that really sparked.
Okay, I don't really care about this. Whatever. Why would you? Okay, then why would you post the original thing, Bari Weiss, and then post this extended version with like these fucking random jabronis talking with Erika? Whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't care about that. We watched the main fucking meat and potatoes of all this. Whatever. This is an obvious fucking orchestration by Bari Weiss, which her fucking editing staff is not going to be particularly happy about, because who the fuck cares about any of this stuff? Like, who the fuck cares about Erika Kirk? This is all shit that happened. It's water under the water under the bed at this point. I don't know if I'm using that fucking saying correctly. Whatever, who cares? No one wants to think about this anymore. No one cares about this anymore. It's left the sort of like American sort of mainstream culture, and everyone's just like sort of moved on from this because this is just nonsensical. Besides like all the poppycock and bullshit that Erika Kirk spewed, like that ultimately doesn't really matter. She's a grifter. Bari Weiss is a grifter. That's why you don't give a grifter like Bari Weiss. To be honest, like, should never be given the position of editor-in-chief of a major mainstream news organization, but I digress. Whatever. The only reason why she was given that is because something Larry Ellison something a deal in order to help with Donald Trump's attempted media sort of consolidation campaign that he's trying to go with. But whatever, what have you. But yeah, like, what else is there to really say besides this is just a complete orchestration? It's nonsense. This town hall was just kind of boring. It's just like standard fucking conservative slop shit, and all the stuff that she's saying, it's not ultimately going to really help with any of the situations whatsoever. Charlie Kirk perpetuated violence with the stuff that he says and believes and helped to implement in places like fucking Arizona. Like, yeah, there's a reason why people hated Charlie Kirk and why people were gleeful about the fact that he fucking got killed. He had an effect on policy. Again, this town hall was stupid. An orchestration. An ad. I'm trying to think of what other ways to sort of describe this besides, yeah, it's just like an advertisement for like Bari Weiss to be like, I'm going to prove that people really want to hear only from like conservative voices. All the ratings tank, and her staff immediately fucking rebels against her because nobody likes fucking Bari Weiss as an individual because she's vapid, doesn't believe in anything, and is a charisma fucking black hole. At least with Trump, he isn't a fucking charisma black hole, so he's able to sort of, well, get away with it more and more so. But anywho, I digress. I don't think there's really much else to say besides this town hall, pretty dog shit. Everything Erika Kirk said, stupid, standard, like, evangelical sort of dreck. And Bari Weiss, I don't think she's going to be in her position for much longer if there's going to be more internal strife within CBS, as a lot of reporting has been saying.